What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, the Survivor Season 47 finale is here, and we are back to recap one last episode for this crazy season that we've had here on Survivor. And I think this episode was a very fitting end to an incredible season. Talk about it a little bit more later, but I think this is probably 1A, 1B with Survivor 45 for Best New Era Season. But of course, we're going to get into it. We got our Jeff Probst shirt on, Eras Tour shirt on for this one. Did last week as well, but we got it on here to recap the last episode of Survivor Season 47. Before we do jump in though, if you could, just hit that like and subscribe button down there. More Survivor content on the channel. Obviously, now we will be off for a little bit in terms of Survivor content until about the spring, so we will be back. But make sure to subscribe. There's other stuff on the channel as well. We cover Bachelor on the channel. We cover a lot of sports on the channel, so if there's any sports people out there, Michigan State, college basketball, college football, NBA, NFL, it's all on the channel, so just make sure to subscribe. Hey, if not, just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss when Survivor 48 starts in the spring. But anyway, let's just jump right into the recap. First off, as I said, crazy ride this season, especially over the last couple weeks. Go back to episode 1, Andy exploding and having a meltdown on the first challenge in the first episode. Operation Italy, getting the Caroline blindside, Rachel versus Genevieve, and so much more this season. Been incredibly entertaining. But we get a moment with all the players before we jump right in to the Final Four Immunity Challenge, the last challenge, immunity challenge for this season. Jumping right in, big one as usual, and ending with the hanging bat puzzle. And this is, the hanging puzzles are, and it's usually obviously always a bat, always my least favorite puzzles on Survivor. I think they are, I obviously have never done one, but they just seem like the absolute hardest. So fitting that it is for the final challenge of the season, makes sense, but hate those hanging puzzles. Lot on the line here, obviously. Guaranteed spot in the final 3 and decide who's making fire, who you're sitting with at the end, and who has to fight making fire to get there. So we go through the challenge, and Sam gets the one-word combination figured out first, and he covers it up. Rachel gets it, doesn't cover it up. Teeny's able to take advantage of that and get up. That was a nice throwback to a couple seasons ago. Specifically, one I'm thinking of in my head is Millennials Gen X way back when Jay didn't cover his combination and ended up losing that challenge. So I thought that was a cool spot that they showed that right there. Then at the end, everyone was really in it and the puzzle at the end, but Rachel pulls away late. It looked like Sam there for quite a while, but Rachel kind of comes back, evens it out, and everyone was in it too. Teeny was in it, Sue was in it as well, but Rachel comes back, pulls away at the end. But hold on, because Jeff says it is not right. Has to go back, redo it, just had to flip a piece. She gets it switched, and Rachel wins the Final Four immunity. Guaranteed spot in the final 3, also choosing who is going to make fire, who's going to sit with her at that final 3. Incredible. 4 immunity wins for Rachel. Only 4 other women in the history of Survivor have won 4 individual immunity challenges. So Rachel makes the 5th. Sam knows he's immediately making fire. Rachel is incredibly happy to be in the conversation with those 4 other legends who have won that many challenges in a season of Survivor, but knows that 2 of those women didn't win the game. So she has to finish here, has to make the right decision with fire tonight. She doesn't feel like, and I agree with her, we talked about it last week and we talked about it in our kind of preview for this finale yesterday morning, but don't think that she really needed to put herself into fire to beat Sam or anyone else. I think she has enough on her resume, her winning this Final Four immunity challenge, to go into the final tribal council feeling fairly confident, in my opinion, of her game to this point. They're kind of sitting in the water cleaning off, and Rachel tells them, like, I'll just tell you guys that Sam and Teeny, you're doing fire. Obviously, as she says, you know, Sue has been her, you know, one of her closer allies since they kind of, you know, came together in this game, and, you know, has been loyal to her for a good majority of the game since they started working together. So Sue in the final 3 with Rachel now. So Sam is originally playing it off like, oh, you're going to let me make fire? But then he starts saying, like, he doesn't know how to make fire, and then Teeny and everyone's kind of like, yeah, he's just, you know, kind of playing that off, whatever. But Rachel's helping Teeny along and pan over to Sam, and he might not be lying that he actually doesn't know how to make fire. He says that he's maybe only picked up a flint once in these 25 days here so far. Maybe touched a flint once, he says. And Sam sees Teeny's fire and realizes that this thing may be slipping away, but he pulls out his letters from home and grabs some inspiration from something his dad said. Gets him fired up to go back, practice again. He gets a fire and it's like, okay, we're going in with positive momentum. At Tribal Council, Sam has a good answer, saying you have to admire Rachel's accomplishments in terms of her immunity challenge wins, but you also have to realize what it takes, and it's outwit, outplay, and outlast. So Andy even says from the jury that was a good answer, sitting over there on the jury. But Teeny says that they've had a one-sided rivalry, themselves and Sam, and this is kind of a fitting end to that. And we jump into the fire making, and this was hands down the best fire making challenge that I have ever seen, that I think we've seen here on Survivor. Teeny got off to a good start and was building that flame, and was even asking Rachel during the challenge, like, hey, so what do I do next? And she's kind of building it up, and it's hitting the rope, about to start burning, and then all of a sudden Sam gets a little flame going, starts breathing it in, starts building that fire, and eventually it's going up. The wind is going everywhere. It's honestly insane, and out of nowhere Sam comes back, gets a flame in a hurry, and pulls it out. Sam wins the final fire making challenge for the season, securing him a spot in the final 3. Never seen anything like that. The wind blowing everything. Teeny's fire, was hitting that rope a good handful of times, and you started to see it like flicker, like it was starting to burn, and it just didn't. The wind just kept coming in, and Sam was able to take advantage and get that thing going, get it built up, and get a good flame going there at the end. But never seen anything like that. That was insane. So Teeny becomes the last member of the jury. Day 26 on Survivor 47, Sue reveals that it actually is her 59th birthday that day, and it's actually her birthday and her 59th birthday. She said that she was in her 40s. Obviously, as a fan, outside of the game, we knew that, but that was something she's saying there. Didn't tell them, was saving that till Tribal Council. But have the glorious Day 26 breakfast. Sam doesn't love watermelon. I'm sorry. I know, Sam, you haven't had many fruits, whatever, but come on. Watermelon is the best fruit out there. Come on, man. But love the jury montage. Been doing it for a couple seasons now, hearing, kind of where their head is at, coming into this final Tribal Council, and them talking about each player, and even the 3 players remaining in the game, Sue, Rachel, Sam, talking about, each jury member and, kind of how they got there, and then, that kind of weaving into the jury member talking about a member of the final 3. Really liked how that was in there like that, and thought that was great. So Rachel really has had control of this thing, for a while. She has been able to find quite a few advantages. She was incredible in challenges. She was likable by a majority of the tribe. Sam has been sitting at the bottom for a majority of the merge, really his number 1 ally, going out in Sierra, the first vote after the merge, but he's just kept finding a way. Sue, says, hey, they're up there high-fiving, but I've downplayed myself this whole game. They underestimate me. And as I said, Sue, I thought, she was probably, 3rd out. I thought it was Rachel, Sam, and then, Sue and Teeny, but I thought Sue was a little bit ahead coming into this episode. And I said, hey, I think she's had good personal relationships, so it just depends how the jury views that. But, going in, this is kind of going to come down to a battle between Rachel and Sam here. And Sue reveals at Tribal to everyone that it's her birthday. Rachel reveals that she was sneaking under a bush listening to that conversation after Operation Italy. And even though Sam says that was, kind of premeditated, how Genevieve's idol wasn't real and, all that stuff. And Teeny actually kind of chimes in and it's like, well, I revealed that Rachel had the block a vote there, so Rachel got that information. And Rachel says, yeah, and then I wouldn't have known that I needed to play my idol the next day without doing that. Sam was really playing into the Rachel got lucky, having, buying the right item at the auction to, find the clue for the idol and, getting an advantage gifted to you by Saul and this other stuff. But, Rachel sells the, how she was controlling the game really post-merge, knew where or had all of the advantages, idols in this game, and, a really good back and forth throughout the whole Tribal Council between Rachel and Sam, and a really good back and forth. And I saw a tweet on on Twitter before jumping on and recording this, and from Stephen Fishback, obviously former Survivor runner-up, and he says serious kudos to the Survivor production team for turning out what looked like a runaway into a tense battle. This was before the final vote was read. Says, I still think Rachel wins, but that tribal council felt close, and I agree. I thought, anyone who's going up against Rachel is probably going to lose. But I was kind of nervous there for Rachel for a while because I was like, Sam's having a really good final tribal. It's not like Rachel was having a bad final tribal. Sam was just, having a really good final tribal and was nervous for Rachel there for a minute. Thought that this was going to be a, 1-2 vote, final vote here. But time to vote and Rachel gets it done 7-1. They played that up really well at the end, and Sam had an incredible final tribal, and Rachel said just as much afterwards. Sam had a really good final tribal, incredible final tribal, but I did think that was going to be a little bit closer. Maybe a 5-3 or something, or at least 6-2. But I think Rachel is deserving of the 7-1 vote there, and an incredible winner of Survivor is Rachel, and she's really been incredible and just ascended this second half of the game. And she kind of talked about it afterwards, or in Tribal Council, I forget which one, but really she kind of readjusted her game after Sierra went out right at the beginning of the merge, and that's really when we started to see her ascend here, and kind of just took over this game, and kind of made herself this big threat that she's been these last 4 or 5 episodes. And the battles that she's had the last couple episodes, having to win to stay in the game, and taking out Genevieve, and taking out Andy, doing this stuff. So just an incredible season for Rachel, and an even more incredible ending for Rachel to secure this thing. And in my opinion, Rachel goes down as one of the best New Era winners, and I think kind of 1A, 1B with D. And that's kind of what I said earlier about Survivor New Era seasons as well. I think this and Survivor 45, 1A, 1B for New Era seasons. And I think D and Rachel got to be 1A, 1B for best New Era Survivor winners. A lot of other good winners to choose from the New Era as well. But I think right now, could be Prisoner of the Moment, but I don't think so. When we revisit this thing in a year or two, I think we're still going to have Rachel up there as one of the best New Era winners as well. But anyway, a really fun season of Survivor here. It was filled with twists and turns and everything that you want in a Survivor season. And of course, did not disappoint here. Survivor 48 coming in the spring, as we said. We'll obviously be back to that. But before then, make sure you subscribe to the channel. A bunch of other stuff on the channel as well. See if there's something you like on there. But anyway, thank y'all for watching the recaps this season. I absolutely love doing this. Survivor has always been 1A, 1B, my favorite reality television show. And, coming on here and just talking about it is something I look forward to every single week. And yeah, that'll never change. So I appreciate you for watching this one. If you watched any other ones this season, thank you as well. But anyway, that'll do it on Survivor content until probably April in the spring, maybe March for Survivor 48, whenever that release date comes out. Don't have it here yet. Might have some other Survivor content during the off season here. Want to kind of do some other stuff, looking back at former seasons. What a ride this season. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.